Hello, my name is Maetreyii Ma, and I am a psychologist in private practice and a spiritual mentor. And understanding the mind and how the mind works is a deep part of spiritual development. We, you know, a lot of yoga is about understanding the causes of suffering, why we suffer, and how we work with our suffering and release suffering into love, joy, and deep peace. And the basis of suffering, there's a lot of things that go on the mind. Uh, the pain of separation, the feeling like you can't fully express yourself and you feel hampered and oppressed or helpless in situations that are awful for you. You feel um, hurt by loved ones who walk away from you. You feel devastated by the death of loved ones. You feel losses, grief, loss of position, loss of income can bring fear. There are so many things that happen in human life that cause suffering. But what is at the core? Why do you suffer from these things? What's at the core? And at the basis, underneath all of the different complex of the mind, there is one essential cause of suffering, and that is our feeling of separation. It causes a restlessness in the mind which drives you in life, always trying to acquire things, trying to seek things which will solve your problems, which will get you more, which will make you safe, which will eliminate fear and make everything okay. So you're at one time grasping and the other hand fearing. And this becomes the human condition, always trying to acquire that which will make you okay, and always fearing all the things that are going to interfere with that. And so this gets to be a really stressful situation. But underneath this situation, there is a fundamental problem, the problem of the human condition. And that is a feeling of separation, of duality, a fall from truth and grace into a sense of separate self. Because I identify with my body and my mind and being this individual in a big world, I feel vulnerable. I feel unsafe. Ultimately, I know I'm going to die. So ultimately, I'm really not safe in my body because I know I'm going to die. And I might get sick, or this might go wrong, or that might go wrong. So all of that pain and that fear and that grasping to get rid of the fear is all based in this fundamental understanding that I'm separate from everything else, that I'm limited to this body mind. And that is where the problem comes. The real cause of suffering is not being able to distinguish the real from the unreal. The real is that you are not separate. You are not alone. You are not isolated. You are not just this body and this mind. You are aware, intelligent, conscious beingness. There's a you inside the body and mind that knows everything you think, that knows everything you feel, that knows everything that goes on in the body. That knower, that's called the Atman, the knower, the one that knows your experience of you. When you say me, who knows that you exist? You know that you exist. There's a you behind that that knows that you exist. That's the Atman, that's your soul. And it's in the connectedness with your soul that you begin to realize that you're connected to the whole universe. The Atman and the Paramatman, as they would say in Sanskrit, the supreme self and the supreme self, the self of all beings, of all that is one and the same. There is one unitary whole of being, one unitary source of being, one love, one truth, one deep, eternal peace of being, the peace of knowing the real. And when you can find that those deep waters within you that are calm, that are peaceful, that's the nature of which is love unconditional. Awareness, beingness, is that love unconditional. That when you settle into it, awareness has a quality. That quality is a quality of bliss, of love that is undeniable, expansive, not dependent on anything. It doesn't need to grasp anything, and there's no fear. There's nothing to fear. For that deep self of yourself is that unconditional, omnipresent essence of being, that divine presence, that infinite love, which always has been, always will be, is unchanging. And even though life goes up and down and you experience so many things on the outside of your life, on the top of the waves of the ocean, in the depths, you remain ever the same. United in love with all that is, with God, with the plants, the animals, with everything that is. You're whole. And that is the real. And it is through ignorance, through misunderstanding, that you come to believe that you are this isolated person who only exists in this small body mind existence with the whole universe out there. Oh my gosh, that's a really vulnerable position to be in, you know? It's scary. And naturally, you're trying to grasp to fix it all. And you can't fix it all. And ultimately, the body's going to die. You're not going to win that game. But when you go inside and you find the truth, the real inside of you, then you find there's no game to win. You already are the truth. You already are melted into the one. You already are outside of the fear and the pain, because they all depend on a belief in a separate self. And when you find your real self, when you find your unity with all of life, when you find the love that doesn't end, then you live in the real. And that is home. That is your safe haven in the storm of life. And that is what the yogis teach us. That is the yoga, the uniting of the little with the great. Find this within yourself, and you will find the real joy. If you want to find me, I'm at yogama.org. Yogama.org. Namaskar.